The coast of West Africa is a daily scene of the relentless arrival of second-hand clothes. In local parlance, it is known as Obroni Wewu, which translates to the dead white man's clothes.
How far? If you can update us, thank you.
In fact, I started from Korea. That's where my parents started from. And we were importing so much. The business moved to China.
Many of these shipments, often from the UK and Asia, arrive in an unwearable state. While the second-hand clothing business has created job opportunities for approximately 2.5 million traders in Ghana and contributes almost $35 million to the local economy yearly, it poses a significant environmental threat in parts of the country.
The major challenge of our disposal facility here, the plastics and the textile, they take several years, some even go beyond 100 years to disintegrate, not to decompose.
The conundrum amidst this deep-seated environmental crisis caused by used clothing is largely hinged on how to tackle the menace without depriving the millions of Ghanaians who depend on it for their livelihoods.
Because abelu ametila ameshuye gole gota jiamike fa jiamike ni bi a uni nyumbo nege ni bi insho nyu elu ofe ge ni gege ego me nye be a shu shi to be de wo yin go be ta ko ji ne ge ni bi ne fe
me fe force
ene me fe force.
In the heart of Ghana's capital, the Kantamanto market is a treasure trove of fashion items. It's estimated that 3.4 million kilograms, that's about 15 million items of used clothing donated globally, end up here every week. Edward Atobra has been importing second-hand clothes mainly from China for 15 years.
My parents were doing the business, and I came to help after my SHS. So from there, I decided to get involved in the business. And then I left the business to school to complete my first degree. So after first degree, I came back to the industry again.
He imports around 5 containers of clothing monthly.
I started from Korea. That's where my parents started from. And we were importing so much. The business moved to China, and it was very good. I might not tell you the number of containers that I used to import, but
maybe an estimation, bro.
Yeah. So in a month, I can say in a month, 3 to 5 containers in a month.
Like many traders, Edward faces numerous challenges in this business.
You have so many people not into the business, and as the business grows and as time goes on, people comes into the business because they find it very lucrative. And the challenges we have had through the years was exchange rates, duty, and some occurrences that we don't have control of, especially during the COVID, where freight charges increased. We didn't know what to do about it. And as I'm talking right now, in China, I import so much from China. In China, freight has increased from 3,000 to 11,000. And it's a very challenging time.
What's all your usual brother so much? I want you to bring one man, bring your queen, and side your way.
In Accra, The day begins long before dawn. It's a busy morning here at the Kantamanto market, and traders here in the youth clothing ecosystem are right in time to make a good catch of the quality of clothes that have been imported from various parts of the world. As thousands of traders head to the central business district, wholesaler Adjua Ohenewa joins the crowd working in the thrift clothing trade. Free countries.
Well, no. If we landing and I be so free. It be a different free. It be a Korea, it be a China, and a supply. And you know, and your man so ne boy do. They say ne boy do pa. You know say ye ton so send ye tear the dano. Sa ni wom.
Ohenewa laments frequent losses due to inferior quality clothes in the bales.
Buoha na tete, ebuoha nye. Oh, near man and boy, then so no, near man a woman and yet, papa. And two child. Just a window seeker, no asado and sabab about dying. Oh, Sunday at the end. So the corner in your money be at it in yes, and I know. Sana beton, beton for no aboca. Oh, Obrunua were Juman sanity, Otoa atitia, untimate farmer back. Overton, sir, because we need to run a cacro, back at your tongue. Tongue crampa. Sana beton no waboka. Now the nisika abrene bia ne kakra obenya no ate so kakra de ama so no waboka.
For years, Adam Jalil, a head porter, has benefited from the job opportunities in the second-hand clothing economy. He claims the highest quality bales are reserved for dealers from neighboring countries who have stronger purchasing power.
No free abuchira ba ka ese wi so ya ba so benye bia didi ntin de wetima baba ni nema bia ba ese 30 million over ba 35 45 50 60 nti obi antimi to Abidjan fo no omu free Abidjan ba omu ni sefa baba sisa no ma to ne mani nyina dia o mo na to ne papa no Ghana fo ba musu Ghana fo na mu nya nyoma omu nya ne papa to ni nyina ko Africus nbetima baba jina to 40 base 60 base 70 base adi akọ enu ana me yehwa me ba me yere mikita nkola 3 me yere ba ko me so me konkomba market me data wodem
It's another bustling day in the continent's largest trading hub where nearly everything is for sale. Survival is about speed. Retailers sift through the bales, hoping to find quality clothes to sell.
Sisi no man wo yegusha ye twa no so nkeshiri kwa bola nti sisi aro chese ye wudi ye tetewo te se yamba pa be ye djuma
se eba ne sana se e na in wow west no bola no e se e affect
oh bola no dey affect em bebre pa because one what people engine mu no be fall 1 cedi and 50 pesos yenya hwe wo ho nti wo mbo ayen na be wura no so e boka serious nti sisi amombo ayen na inoma mbra fo mayen na sisi emu ayen pa ye kwa pese ye jai kra na ye kokko eyi banchu fu bi ye wo nsawo ma do ejiri wo bi kra
nti pa so no side ball no so no ya challenges be na juma
o edu be a boga ye kofie ye sika kra wo fie anase wo susum kan ya kwakofa na ye dey den ye dey aba ebu wo so ye kopji sika wo ye yire no mo no mo so ye adwuma ye ma won bi no mo so aboa yen ene na ye de tumi de titi hanum kakra o
on say ye twa no hu ya ebi wo kura sasa o de frame no mo de afa we mu nya ya pake wo de hwa ade we ye de atum we wo ton ya be da aton hwe wo be da aton t-shirt wo twa t-shirt niam we nyina efrefre mu a e be da no watimi aton am wanya ni mu sika nti anu de anu ohye wo kofa niam no nso wo hwe de efrem wo kofa niam no a wo nimi ne ewo mu na wakwa akofa e to da bia wo betwa ne na ye ebi onso a wo betwa mu no wo betwa no na ye bibia we na de etwa hede aye enye de mayi nko a enya me de agu ha enye ti we ton se na wo beton ya Would be any sika. And also 15 million boarding.
For those who aren't lucky, losses are common due to the baller that is trash often hidden in the bales. One such retailer, Ajua Eduku, revealed how a bale once contained undergarments stained with feces.
Panties are Mikoko Chai, Bibre may be Bratogu, one at Ashe, Nini Nani. It won't know the attitude Bibre, any Bibre, anyone. Bibre, any money moon, Ucha, Akasia, the year Papa Kurani, we want a Tashe, Bra, Omudi your mafun in a dukum, no more the abre, see any etian yento, there's any crass for, she woman in our most room, at the abre, sayento, saying it.
Panisana, Moyana day, you will.
You took you're turning a 40 million, bay. Knock off our 40 million idea and come back to a guna, blah, Waboka. Waboka.
I don't know soon until some baby in the moon, in
my womb. You knew your baby and it beyond my and yet. It won my and yet, bra. Would you when you share and share? And you're going to be a book toilet. But I could be the missing to good, that's what them. Toilet, and your money yet, share. Semi bois on. Wait, and yet, tis a tuning in Iden, Edu, and yet one can't quite on one yento, or be up a by not saying it here, toilet here. Say ya, net toilet room, say ya 40 million. Be through a crab by and a mujine.
As the day ends, traders pack up and the few wearable clothes are sold at lower prices. Where does the rest go? I'm sure if we should stare into the heap of refuse behind me, you would find your favorite designer in there. But that's really not the point. This is to give a clearer picture of the over 10 million tons of used clothes that end at our landfills. The 48-acre landfill site, now decommissioned, is being converted into a recreational facility after health concerns were raised by residents. This has led to the creation of new dumping sites.
What we are saying is that if there is a way authorities can even help us ban this unuseful things, because some of the things that are brought here are completely waste and nobody have interest in them to even buy. So if there's a way authorities can take a first step, not to ban the whole second-hand product, but the unuseful ones.
There should be a regulation.
Yes, a regulation to sort and ban certain things. Then it means we can also take care of our waste management work. And here too, we are not here just a dump site. Here's not an engineered or any facility that could sort waste and treat.
Landfill manager Ernest Ijewan warns that increasing textile and plastic waste could overwhelm landfills. He calls for innovative waste management strategies.
The major challenge of our disposal facility here, the plastics and the textile, they take several years. Some even go beyond 100 years to disintegrate, not to decompose. Yes, so when that happens, it makes the facility not, we lose the airspace more than the decomposition or the waste getting down. So because those major wastes, being the plastics and the textile in various forms, comes here, the waste, the organic waste that is inside is not able to decompose, and you see the change in the height. So it's always we are building the mountain. In case, or should we have any facility that could recycle or turn this textile into useful things again, that could be excellent to help our plant here. If not, our facility, if not, we are having a shorter, limited time to close down this facility as well.
This situation has led to the rise of informal dumping sites, particularly in areas like Old Fadama. Greenpeace Africa has been documenting the environmental damage caused by the second-hand clothing industry.
There's several culprits in this situation. I think we need the Ghanaian government to have stricter laws around the type of clothes that we receive, because we can't be receiving garbage. I mean, that's, we spoke to market stallholders, we spoke to fishermen, all these different communities that are impacted by this. So I think we need stricter laws. There's clearly some loopholes that allow for this toxic waste to enter the country, so we need to tackle that on. But we also need to speak to the fashion brands. Fast fashion is ever evolving. It's bigger than it's ever been. This cheap and quick manufacturing of these processed clothes, mainly made of plastic, but not biodegradable. So I think fast fashion companies need to be held accountable and to take accountability for the full life cycle of the products that they create. There needs to be accountability for sure, and we need to emphasize, things like the polluter pays principle. I think is the biggest one we have to look at. Yeah.
According to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, emissions from textile manufacturing and disposal are expected to rise by 60% by 2030, underscoring the negative impacts of used clothing.
From our research, most of this waste is actually manufactured using synthetic products. So about 89%, that's almost 90% of this, and we found a lot of plastics. If you look at plastics as a product, almost 99% of it comes from oil. And when we go to the fossil fuel industry and look at the extraction of oil, then we're looking at a link of this fossil fuel oil also exacerbating the climate impacts that we're already facing. If you look at Africa, for instance, a few years ago, we were not facing all these extreme weather events, but now we are talking of droughts. East Africa just witnessed the worst droughts in 40 years, the worst drought in 40 years. And then a few months after that, we had flooding events, and not just East Africa. We've had also, landslides across Central Africa. So these events are becoming more and more, and we don't want just to look at it as just normal. There's nothing normal about everything else that's happening.
Jamestown, located on the eastern side of the Korle Lagoon, is famous for its beaches and tourism. However, the livelihoods of its fisherfolk are threatened by the disposal of used clothing and other textile waste, which ends up in the lagoon and eventually washes ashore.
Without the sea, one would be made to believe where I find myself right now is sort of a wardrobe, but it is nothing close to that. This is a glimpse of the calamity used clothes are causing to ocean life.
For Abdul Rahman and his fellow fisherfolk, it's no longer business as usual.
Bola jini nyo gota mi ke ton ko le mi ke ni bi ne fe ban show mi ke ban show mi ke show push fe ko ba bu ase e won show na no ya bi ne fe bola ke ni bi so igba wona wa de nche wona bi ne wa ba fi de ba bala shi ne ke bola jini e ba yin shi bi ne ta fla che ko ti shi le bi po ko blo bo shin alotu
fo jien pi ka ke ba atale jien ko me bi ko sa ke do ablochi e container mi ke ni bi o na ke papa ni ju ke ni ne wo ke ba pi hu ya chon ojo e
pi yin chon ojo e because e go me le yin nge ni bi ke bala shi abe lo ame tila ame shu e go le gota jien mi ke fa jien mi ge ni bi ya hu ni ngbo ne ge ni bi insure ni e lo ofen ge ni bi ke e go me yin be a shu shi to be de wo yin ko be ke ta ko ji ne ge ni bi ne fe
ne me fe force ni bi
ne me fe force di ona na gba ni ka kutokaji ne ge ni bi ne fe yin sure ne awon sure na fe mu di do e so.
I was on the beach. I was not even walking on sand. That's crazy. And so we spoke to fishermen to be like, okay, how is this impacting you? They were saying that because of all this waste, their canoes have to go even further. And our waters here are quite rough as well, so it's quite dangerous for them. One of our colleagues, Mike, spoke about how he went to the beach and he was saying that fishermen are struggling to even catch prawns, shrimps, because they're not reproducing in the places that they would normally reproduce. Yeah, so the ecosystem, as you said, is being impacted. And we're only seeing, what is on the surface, but I'm sure there's even more deep there, and we'll have footage as well of fishermen catching, fish, but it's mainly textile waste that they're bringing onto their boats. So it's really showing the severity of what we're seeing right now.
They share their experiences of suffering cuts from sharp objects interspersed with their textile waste.
Eke apeno ko klo ha bogboma adisa na ne me nibi tuma ekotomo ndi ni adun ne fertilizer ni ona na ne tumo tutu en keji no ko tubo no po den ta ba nye ta chole ten akakakra ba wule ka ke mutrusu enu no keke tie ne na mi ebe tumo nibi na ke dun nibi no ke no ko so tubo no be sa no anu agbu ke tu agbu we eke na gbe me apeno ko klo yan bogboma ne ko no yin kaple ebe bilona to ne fe ne nso agidi ne ona ke pamoni ke ma jandi bi ne ka wolu e ona e ba akoto ona ni ti na ne ko ene pe house ko ne so be ke si achi no no ke nso agidi no e se eje gbo o ke ji to ni megmo yu oni ne gbe ma je ba agidi ni bi komenda deji nkomeye ona ni wo yu oni to da deji nkomeye ne agbugbo no it is a disease ona e plabo.
The health risk and environmental impacts of burning these clothes are severe.
A trader would buy a bale, open up, and out of, say, 200 items of clothing, you find that only about 80 to 100 pieces are sellable. That means, the rest are waste. They will be dumped. They will end up, in open dump sites and open spaces. Some of it actually ends up being used to heat water in some of the informal settlements. And our research teams also did test the air quality within those wash houses. And the shocking results, there are toxins, and you can imagine communities in these wash houses will breathe in those toxins which have been found to be causing cancer or carcinogenic, yes.
Assistant Programs Officer for the Climate Unit of the Environmental Protection Agency, Isaac Kwabena Danso, emphasizes the need for an attitudinal shift in managing the crisis.
The whole discussion about addressing climate change starts from our attitudinal and behavioral change, our lifestyle. How do we eat? If you are eating, what portions are you taking? Are you taking the portion you can eat? And after eating, where does the rest go? When you get something, how do you throw away your waste? Do you recycle them? Do you just throw them anyhow? Are we part of those who link our waste to the oceans or the water bodies? These are some of the discussions we have to have ourselves. Go deeply, look at our lifestyle, change some of these things, and try to adopt a sustainable lifestyle. If we start doing this from our little corner, it wouldn't be much difficult government solving this whole problem on the general perspective. Personally, I've had a chance to visit other beaches outside Ghana, and if I compare some of these to what we have in Ghana here, I just become very emotional about these things, and I wish we could address it. But what I would say is just like what I said earlier on. How do we come up with our behavioral change? How do we put this into perspective? If you are you are part of the people who throw our waste in our water bodies, we should have a change of mind.
Others believe increasing the purchase of locally produced fabrics could be part of the solution.
We, the Youth Clothing Dealers Association, we encourage it. We always try to also let them come out. We are not in competition with the local fabrics. How many are they? They are just few. And even with our materials, we have used clothing materials which fashion designers also come to buy to redesign it for those kind of African kaftans and other stuff. So we encourage those things so that even the local fabrics can also thrive. So you can see that I'm very
absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do we tackle this issue without depriving the thousands of traders who rely on the over 15 million second-hand clothes imported into Ghana each week?
So the business itself, the business of second-hand, textile is not bad, and we do recognize the fact that it, contributes immensely into the economy of the different countries across Africa, Ghana being one of them. What we are actually saying is that they should not bring waste, because if we are saying it's second-hand, let it be clothes that are wearable. Let it be clothes that are of the appropriate weather for these countries. You can't, for instance, bring a winter jacket into Ghana where the climate is warm almost all year round. So we're not against really the business. We are just against fashion brands who are really overproducing and then just dumping that to a country that is not even able to deal with the waste, its own waste that is creating, leave alone one that is being dumped from somewhere else. And I think this has a lot to do with our own governments, African governments, and just starting with the Ghanaian governments. Our strong message to them is really that they should not accept the importation of dead waste, because that is what it is.
Or maybe the global north should start considering where its cast-off donations end up.
It is a place where traders in the used clothing business get their bread bartered, and one cannot help but highlight the litany of challenges facing this business. First is the inferior goods being imported into the country, and second, the environmental catastrophe it poses to Ghana and the world at large. In the face of finding solutions to this problem, the question remains: how long will this place be a dumping ground for the dead white man clothing? Fauzuma Saudi.